today's session is something related to the last minute tip for board appearing students. So as an educator, you have a lot to do, lot more to work on, or lot more to do to help the students who are preparing for the board examination. So we'll be discussing some tips and tricks and maybe some methods which we should follow. So before moving on to today's topic, so myself Lakshmi, I work as a part of Amrita University. We are a multi-campus, multidisciplinary research academic institution. We have 8 campuses spread across different states in the country. We are guided by the world-renowned humanitarian Sri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi. And what our aim or what we mostly focus on is to impart value-based education to the students. It's not like you learn something, you achieve something, you are growing bigger in your life. You have to give it back to the society or you have to help others. That's what we are mostly focusing on. And we offer UG, PG and doctoral programs in all the following disciplines. We have engineering courses, arts, media and journalism, humanities, management, allied healthcare, medicine, sciences, etc. So we have around 207 programs in all the campuses, in the total of 8 campuses across the country. So I think I would start this session by taking up some questions from you, maybe any queries or anything that's there in your mind. It's about how to deal with the students, what all things we can do to support the students who are having that stress, having that anxiety, who feel like, yeah, I'm not able to remember anything I have studied. I don't know when it comes to the exam hall, the atmosphere is something which causes stress in me. I'm not able to remember anything. I don't know what to do. I'm not able to manage the time. So a lot of complaints, a lot of questions will be there. And we are encountering this maybe on a daily basis in our classes. So we'll be discussing all of them. So this is the basic content that we'll be discussing. Maybe a basic role of educators, what we can do, what's our role actually, what we can focus on, maybe a basic idea on how to deal with the stress, about some of the time management or the memory management strategies and all. Can we call us the game changers in someone else's life? Are we educators game changers of somebody else's life? Do you feel that? Do we have the capability or the capacity to do something to our kids or maybe some people? What's your opinion? I wish everybody should share their opinion. Yes, I could see, yes, a lot of yes in the chat box. Yes, we are actually the magicians or we are actually the game changers in our students' life. So as an educator, we have a lot more to do. And maybe because the time may be a constraint, maybe because of work, the academic part, the examination part, we have a lot of work. So maybe between that or in between these things, we are not getting enough time to focus on our kids. Because I have encountered a lot of teachers saying this statement. I'm not able to focus on each kid individually because I'm bombarded with all the, I would say the mathematical works or the, some technical works, the mark entry and all of them. We'll start with the role of educators. As kids, there should be somebody in their life who should tell what their future should look like, how they should face the future without fear, how they should be facing everything with courage, with knowledge, with confidence. So we are the people who are making these kids live a good life, maybe to become a better version of themselves, maybe to choose a right career, maybe to succeed in their life. I would say the teacher, the term is now changed. It's more of an educator. I, as a teacher, may be a best friend to some of the students, maybe a parent, maybe a role model, maybe a well-wisher. Now we have to play a lot more roles. So let's see what we can do. And even we are now working as career counselor. So basically, I am working as a teacher as well as a career counselor. So it's like I used to give career guidance. I am having an idea about the different profession, which one would suit a particular candidate. So we are doing a lot of things. We are helping them to enhance the learning. And I would say I would appreciate all the educators, all the teachers here who are trying to improve themselves, who are trying to study a lot of new things every day. We are consistent learners, right? We update ourselves so that we'll be able to prepare our students for the current world. Now, moving on, this is something, the basic diagram. I'm not able to get any questions. I'm waiting for you to, what all things are you confused about when it comes to dealing with students, when it comes to when they are into the exam atmosphere. So I'm waiting for your queries. So the term board examination or the term examination, that term itself is causing some stress to our students. So how can we address that? As it's like everybody whom the kid is seeing, the child is seeing. It's like maybe a relative, maybe a neighbor, maybe their parents, maybe your teachers. Everybody is saying the statement, you are having your 10th board exams or maybe your 12th board exams. This is going to decide your life. That may be causing a pressure for our kids. So what are things we should focus? What are things we can tell our students? What are things we can discuss with them so that we'll be able to make them confident, so that they'll only focus on the positive side. They'll not focus on the negativeness, maybe the stress or the anxiety. So this is the basic stuff which we always discuss with our students, right? When it comes to any exam, whether it's competitive exam or whether it's board exam, we'll always tell the planning is the first step. Maybe time management, how we are going to deal with the subjects, maybe the writing of short notes, writing of model examinations or the mock test and revision. So all these things we discuss with our students in just one sentence. But what we need to do is we need to make them understand, yeah, this is this process called, and this is the advantage that you will get when you're doing this process, when you're implementing this process. So this is the way we should help our students. Now, how many of you can confidently say that you'll be able to understand or you'll have a better idea? You have an idea about the weakness and the strengths of your students, each and every student in your class. Maybe you are having class charges of 11th or 12th, or maybe you have 40 or 50 kids in the class. How many of you feel like you are really confident? You know what are the character traits or maybe the characters of a student, which all areas he is strong. It's not about subjects, maybe other than that. Which all areas he is strong, which are the weak points. So there is something called get to know you discussions. I hope in every classroom, in every school, these type of discussions happen. So in these type of discussions, students feel like, yeah, I feel this thing. I know what is happening. This is something that is happening. I just want to understand what can I do. So there are some open up sessions called get to know you, some discussion kind of thing, which every school conducts. So in these sessions, when they are with their classmates, when they are in a zone which is very much comfortable to them, most of them open up. Maybe you can find out that these many students are interested in, yes, some feel confident, some have this anxiety and panic attack words. Yes, it's being commonly used because they are exposed to everything. They have everything at their fingertip. And even if they don't feel these things, they are themselves assuming, yeah, I feel like I'm anxious towards this thing. I feel like it's anxiety. It's because of the atmosphere. Maybe family can be a reason. Maybe the people around them can be a reason. So what we need to do is we need to make them understand, I would say technically, what all this is. It may take some time, maybe of our sessions, but it's very useful. Then only we'll be able to motivate our students. Otherwise, they'll say, I feel like I'm anxious. I feel I'm stressed. I'm not able to do anything. I can't do this. Then why am I wasting my time? I know some students will say the statement initially. I have not studied anything. I'm not able to understand the formulas of mathematics. I know where I stand now. But now it's only 10 days or 15 days. I don't know whether I'll be able to cover up everything. So why should I try? These type of attitude is common in our students. So what we need to do is we need to understand each and every individual's traits, each and every student's traits. We as teachers are the person who are able to do it. Maybe parents also. So then understanding each or every individual's strength or weakness, we can take measures. Yes, I think Ikta ma'am have already typed in the chat box that they have get to know you in their school. It's really good thing. And the second one is something called providing personalized feedbacks. How many of you feel like, yeah, I have 40 students in my class. Everyone is so close to me that they used to share something which is maybe of their secret to me. Or how many of you give a personalized feedback to your students? I still remember my mathematics teacher. I would say I'm in my 30s. So it's like my school was long back. But I still remember my mathematics teacher who have taught me mathematics from 8th, 9th and 10th. What the reason is, I would tell you, she has never given the answer sheets in class. She has never given me the answer sheets in class, whether it's from 8th, 9th or 10th. What she'll do is, she'll have a personal interaction with each and every student. But it's not like she felt, she made me feel special. It's like the way she treats me is something different. She may come 5 or 10 minutes early. It's like before the school timing. Maybe 2 to 3 students will go there, whoever comes. She'll discuss it paper by paper, I would say formula by formula, the substitution. So she'll take maybe 10 or it's like 15 minutes to discuss something with a student. It's just an answer paper, maybe a midterm or maybe any examination. So there is a bond that's being formed between the student and the teacher. It's something which is non-separable. I would say it's not separable. So everybody wants to. Now we are living in a situation where it's like our kids, especially these kids, want to feel special. They want to have attention. They are attention seekers. So I still remember her because of this thing only. And she always used to tell us, keep an error book. Now I know everybody is having. When I was in my 10th, it's long, long back. So I have an error book where I'll write, yeah, these are the errors that I make in this substitution, maybe in this formula. So when it comes to examination, it's very easy for me to go through the error book and understand in mathematics, why am I losing marks? So when you have a personalized test, when you give a personalized test to the students, they'll have an opportunity. It's like they'll come close to us. They will open up things. They'll say, even if I have solved this problem 5 times, when it the same thing, same substitution, the same formula came for the examination, I was not able to do it. Maybe we could identify the method of study of the student is wrong. This is possible only when we have that personalized connection. So please try to keep this. This is very important. And something called early revision planning. I have always observed what teachers used to say is, it's only 10 days before the examination. It's just 15 days before the examination. The timetable has arrived. On Feb 1st, you have the first exam. You have 2 months for the examination. Start revising. Start revising. You have a test on next Friday. Start revising. So this is one sentence or start reviewing, start revision. This is one sentence or one statement, one word, which is very much into the student's mind. But most of the students will take it in a vague way. I would say they'll not consider it. This teacher is always telling to revise what she is doing. Most of the people are not able to understand why we are asking them to revise. So we should tell them what's the need of revision. And maybe most of the teachers can pre-plan the revisions also. It's something like, maybe if you're having the final chapter running, maybe the first 10 minutes or 20 minutes, just revising a single topic. Maybe conducting the previous year examinations. It's not about the examination, the model exams which your school is conducting. It's something of personalized that a teacher can do for their kids. Maybe one type of mathematical, I would say problem, an equation or something, or a substitution, which is always there in the board examinations. So just 10 or 15 minutes of our time and giving that personalized experience, or I would say the confidence to the students. Now, the second one is helping the students to analyze themselves. It's like the idea of collaboration and competition. Grouping the students, maybe making them team, work on different projects, maybe to work on different formulas. We have a set of 5 teams. So all of them will study different things and they'll teach others. One group will study one topic, they'll teach the topic to other 5 people. So they'll have that collaboration, that teamwork capability from now itself. And maybe they'll be able to analyze themselves. How much is their learning capability? How they are able to learn things. So we have a lot more to do. Now I think that was the basic part of the session. I'm going to move forward towards something which students are always interested when it comes to, I would say, sessions related to these topics. This is something maybe we as kids also experience these things. Most of the students will say, yeah, I'm having headache. Maybe I feel like I'll have the heart attack. I don't know when I'm getting into the examination hall. I don't remember anything. I'm not able to breathe. The common complaints, and maybe I have seen a lot of students who will be like, yeah, they'll be in difficult situations and we need to get help for them when they are in the examination hall. So this is because of the anxiety. I would say they are anxious towards the examination. They have never felt it before. Maybe when they are studying also, they have never felt it. But when they're entering into the examination hall, all these things comes. There are some students who are very anxious about the mathematics examination. Something called subject-specific anxiety. Mostly, I would say mathematics or physics type of subjects. Those category of students are also there. And we as teachers, we as educators need to understand why are they stressed? Why are our students stressed? These are some of the reasons or some of the points that I have listed. I have collected it from different students and I have listed it here. Most of them feel like, still my 9th standard, I was the topper. I was in the top 3 in the class. I want to maintain it somehow in my 10th, creating a pressure. Even if they are studying well, they want to be in the first 3, and they are having a pressure. They are stressed on it. Maybe the competitiveness. Maybe parents will compare them to somebody else. A lot of them complain, I'm not able to remember. I have a lot to learn. I don't know where to start. This is something which is very common among students. When they have a 20 or 25-day study holidays, they'll say chemistry it's 19 chapters, physics it's 12 chapters or maybe 20 chapters, mathematics it's 22 chapters. I don't know where to start. And I have this the language, the English, and all the other things as into the subjects. So what I have to do? So as educators, when we are close with the students, we can easily understand what is the reason our students are stressed. What makes them stressed? Is it the mathematics subjects? Is it the fear of failure? Is it their parents? Is it the society? What is something which makes them stressed? And I would say it's like long back, teachers even used to compare students. It's something like when two students who are near sitting very close in the class for very close friends, somebody will say, the teacher will say, she is talking to you, but she'll score 90. But what about you? So these type of things that always happen in a class. And maybe somebody will aim for 95%. I want to get it. That's why I'm stressed. There are a lot of reasons to be stressed. But what we need to tell our students or where we need to address them is, we need to give the technicalities of everything to them. We need to tell them stress is something which is completely normal. It's a normal human reaction that happens to every individual. Even for me, as I'm your teacher, I'm this much years old, but I am also stressed at some point of time in my life. So understand that stress is something which is normal. It's something called a body's natural defense. It's something like your body is protecting you. Or it's something called a response to pressure. It's a response to something which is threatening you, something which is frightening you. So understand that stress is something which is normal. Now what you can do is take that stress into a positive part or change it into a positive term. We know stress in mild forms. It's very motivating. It can make us energized or it can keep us energetic. So have stress, but in mild forms. Maybe if you feel like, yeah, I have a mathematics test maybe after 2 weeks. If you know it today, and if you know that if I'm postponing the studies to just the day before the examination, I'll be stressed. I know everything. But what I'll do is, it's okay, I'll start from now. It's that stress which makes you work from now onwards. So ask your students or try to make them take the stress in a positive way or take the pressure in a positive way. This is something which we as educators can do, we as teachers can do. Give them what is stress and make them understand it's completely normal to feel stressed. I would say when in a family, when it's like my mother is not feeling well, so the doctor have asked to take a test. We know for what the test is. So till the results arrives, everybody in the family is like, yeah, really stressed. So understand or make them understand it's completely normal. And this is the statistics which you can share with your students. When somebody or when our students are planning for an examination, they're planning to write an examination, 96%, this is the statistics which is taken after a survey. So 96% of students feel anxious about the exam. 59% have the pressure from family. I hope it's reduced nowadays. And 64% of students need more support when it comes to examination. So we have to make them understand stress is normal. It's okay to take support. So when we have this something open up among them, when we have the students, when we are able to make them understand this is the situation, then they'll come to us. If they feel stressed, if they are not able to do something, they'll come to us. Then it would be easy for us to help them. And I have seen some students who are something like, they worry over worry. I would give you an example. Most of the students feel like, yeah, I have studied everything related to mathematics. They are worrying, thinking whether I will be able to recollect this formula in the examination hall. It's something called worry over worry. So always ask your students or tell your students to keep stress under their control and make it as a positive one. Now, another important point which I always used to practice with students is something called decluttering your mind. We always used to tell, yeah, I'm going to declutter this place. Same way, we can advise the students when they are really stressed or when they feel anxious about something, we can ask them to declutter their mind. Everybody will have a very, I would say, favorite place, maybe in their school, in their home. Just take a piece of paper, a pen, and go there. Ask your student to write whatever they want. This is something which we can also do. So ask them to write whatever they want. Some people will be able to write just one word. Someone will come with the blank paper. Somebody will be writing about 8 to 10 pages. So what you're doing is you are just flashing off things from your mind. You're just flashing off things from your mind. So your mind is clear. So you are good to go or you are ready to start. This is some practice which you can tell your students to do. A method which can help them. Even maybe it's like we as grown-up people can also do this. Now, another important part is it's like I know whatever we are saying, it's difficult for the students to implement, but where our importance comes is how much we are able to convince them in such a way that they'll think in this angle. So these are some of the strategies to deal with the test anxiety. I would say the common things, you can go yoga, maybe the exercises, maybe breathing exercises. Always ask your students to picturize their success. Even if they have not done anything, think about, when the mathematics teacher is coming to your class, she's going to distribute the paper, think you have scored above 70. So that type of messages that you have to keep with yourself. And thus, it will help you to improve your confidence. Now, this is one tip which we used to practice in our university for those students who are very much anxious. It's like about the examination hall, the atmosphere. Initially, I was never having an understanding about why the examination hall or the atmosphere will create stress. It's the same classroom in which these students are listening to the classes, right? We are teaching in the same classroom. But when it's converted into the examination hall, when their roll numbers or something, the register numbers are written in the desks, or maybe I would say pasted in the desk, they'll get anxious. It's like the room is creating something for them. So where we used to do a technique like they can take maybe any one problem or any single question. They can have an examination atmosphere themselves. Maybe a table, a chair, maybe a water bottle, maybe what all things they need for writing the examination. Just one question, write it from that atmosphere. Maybe think about something that they have studied and they can write that. So this is something which can help them to reduce that the test room anxiety. This is there for a lot of students, but this is a method which can help them to reduce this. Even if we are not able to provide such an atmosphere, ask them to write a sample paper. Maybe the last year board examination paper, just 3 hours. They can sit somewhere, they can write. They can themselves evaluate. After completion, they can themselves evaluate what happened, how they have completed it. Or if they want, they can do it in blocks. It's like they can do the part A session one part at a time, maybe the part C section afterwards. So this is something which is very important. And the last 4 points that we have mentioned is for the kids. It's like they need to understand it's their life. They're doing something, it's for themselves. So they need to take care of themselves. So they have to sleep. It's like I know a lot of people feel like they need to study 10 hours, 12 hours at a stretch. It's really bad to do that. They need to give time gaps between the studies. So you need to make them understand all these things. Now coming to the memory part, I think at least you have a student who feels like I have studied everything, teacher, I have completed everything, but I don't know what happened when I was in the examination hall. My mind went blank. I'm not able to remember things. You need to tell students there is something which is very important for you to remember things that you have studied. So I've divided it into 2 parts. You remember things when, and you don't remember things when. You will be able to remember things when you make connections or links, when you study for yourself. It's like when I'm at home, it's like 5 or 5:30, I reach my home. After half an hour, my mother will start saying, go study. Board exam is on February 15th. Go study. Board exam is on February 15th. I am studying because my mother wanted me to study. If you're studying, if you're just opening a book, sitting there reading something, it's not going to work out. You have to understand, I want to be in a position, I want to build a career, I want to do this thing, I want to achieve this thing. So if a kid is studying of his personal interest, then it is easy for them to remember things. And I know a lot of students are studying mathematics by reading. It's like sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. They are reading it and studying mathematics. I know still students are following it. So even for subjects other than mathematics, you'll remember things more correctly when you're writing it, or maybe when you're saying it aloud. We need to discuss this with our children. And some students will come home. They are like, tomorrow I have this mathematics test. They'll come home, just get freshen up. They'll come. I have a mathematics test tomorrow. What I'll do? This is the chapter. They'll have this time. They'll be repeating this thing in their mind when they're sitting there to study. So when are you are stressed? When are the kid is stressed? They'll not be able to remember anything. And it's just like, I don't know this exam is going to happen or not. Just my mother or my parent wanted me to study. I'll open book and I'll sit there. You will not be able to remember anything. So you need to understand what is memory. You need to make your students understand what is memory. We know it's something called a storage. Now everybody knows about the disks and all of them, about the physical storage and everything. So memory is something which can come with only a certain amount of information at a time. So what you can do, what you as kids can do is you can do something which will help you to increase the amount of time that will be there in your memory. So it's not like you're studying chapter 1 to chapter 10 in a single day and you want to score a 90% in the next day examination. It's not possible because it's something which carries or which is able to collect very less amount of information. So you need to give it in different times. This is a small example which we use to conduct when we are doing physical sessions. It's actually for the kids. I have different words here. So I have a set of words here. I'll give you 1 minute and I just want you to remember how many words you're able to recollect. There is fog, long, hat, lull. Different words are there. How much words you are able to remember? Maybe after 1 minute. I think you will be doing this exercise with me. Whenever you have free time in your class, maybe you can do these type of exercises. Maybe after completing a long portion or something, a small exercise, maybe for 2 or 3 minutes. It will take just hardly 5 minutes. And make them understand what the technicality that is behind it. It's not like asking them to revise every day, asking them to do this thing every day. Now it's like they are smart kids. They want to know the reason behind everything. That's what I understood with my exposure. It's not like they will not believe the sentence that we are saying. They want to understand what is something which is behind it. Then only they are able to. It's like then only they will believe it or then only they'll do it. Okay. I think, okay, there is another Lakshmi who have typed some words. Okay. Yes. Is there anyone else who wish to try? We are also having that kid's mind, right? Even if we are teachers, even if we are educators, we are also having their mind. We need to have their mind to be with them, to be as a friend of them, maybe as a well-wisher, as a, I would say, mentor, as an instructor, as a trainer. We need to have that mind. I think, yes, I could see. Prince Sharma has typed some words. Okay. Okay. So before moving on to the next slide, I have some questions. Yes, but it's really happy. I'm really happy that a lot of people are typing the words. Yes. So how many of you remember the total number of words in that I would say the image that I've shown? What is the total number of words? Okay, I think Pallavi has got some more words. So yes, it's good. I'm really happy that your teachers are with me. 1920. Okay, it is having total 20 words, and I would say Kiran have typed 6 colors. Yes, obviously. So this is something which we always used to ask our student when it comes to memory. It's completely fine because I gave you only 1 or 2 minutes to remember those things. Hardly 9 or 10 or 15. It's very rare that people remember all the 20 words. So there are different tricks that different people used. Somebody remember those terms with color. Somebody makes sentences out of them. Somebody turns it into a story. So everybody has their perspective of learning. Everybody has their method of learning. This is something which we need to understand. Most common practice that people do is creating sentences. So what I meant or what I plan to do or what I plan to mention in front of you is, we remember information more effectively when we organize them into chunks. It's like when we are able to create a relationship between them. I still remember my chemistry teacher, the periodic table, she was having a poem type of thing, a song type of thing to remember the things. That's how she taught us. So it's like connecting or having the relationships between these things. And I would say without repetition and rehearsal, we'll forget things. That's where the importance of revision comes into picture. Everybody knows about cache memory, I think. It's the part of the memory where the frequently used items are kept. So similar to our memory, if I'm frequently using something, it will be in the top of my memory. So I'll be able to recollect it easily. This is the logic that you need to tell your students. This is something called a forgetting curve. I would say there is retention. This is the time remembered in a day. If you have remembered it only, or if you have studied it the first time, it will be here in the memory. If it's in the second time, it's somewhat tough. If it's the third time, if it's the fourth time, I would say it will be in the top of the memory. If it's in the top, then you will be able to recollect it easily. So most of the students will ask one question. It's like what I encountered is I have a lot of things to study. So how am I going to revise everything? Maybe it's not like you're doing revision when you're sitting in front of a book. Maybe you can revise things when you're alone. When you are doing something else, you can remember about a formula. You can remember about something. Maybe I would say the whole digestion process that you have studied. You can remember how the process happened. So when you know, when you have a correct idea about how the process happened, you'll be able to draw the diagram easily. So it's not like you have to be in front of the book to do the revision. When it comes to maths and all, I would say obviously, but for remembering the formulas, for remembering a process, for remembering a chemical reaction, it's something that you don't need to be in front of a book. So understand that how much time you're revising something, how much time you're revisiting something, it will be in top of memory. That's why we are asking you to revise things. We want you to remember all the thing or everything that you have studied. So when you want it to be in the top of memory, you have to revisit it or you have to revise it. That's where revision comes into picture. So now I think we'll move on to something which is different, which is called goal setting. I'm not moving into really detail of goal setting, but I will give you a basic idea. What is goal setting is? The secret of moving from where I am or where you are to where you want to be. So you need to tell your students, you need to ask them to have a goal in their life. It can be of different types. Maybe to get this mark, maybe to be in this college, maybe to work in this company, maybe to visit this place. Everybody should have a goal. It's something like everybody has their Mount Everest to climb. So ask your students to understand what's the goal. They need to set them, they need to live their life to achieve it. So it's not about the board examination, but it's just a combination of everything. Maybe scoring 90% so that I'll be able to write this examination and I'll be into this college. Scoring 95% so that I'll get a seat in this university. So goal setting is very important when it comes to the kids' personal growth and development. If this is your goal, you have a plan to reach the goal. It's something which is really important. So when it comes to this board exams, you can ask them to set goals which they feel like they'll be able to accomplish. Have goals which you feel like, yeah, it's okay for me to implement. I'll be able to implement it. Maybe when it comes to studies, if you're having 20 days, how you're going to divide the 20 days. Maybe today, my only goal is to complete the physics this chapter that I'm very bad at. I don't know how to solve these problems. It's just a simple goal. But it helps you to evaluate yourself. It helps to evaluate the kid themselves. It's like, yeah, how much I have achieved. If you're not able to complete the physics chapter, how much you have studied. You have 2 or 3 topics remaining. So goal setting is very important to achieve something in your life, even if it's examination, even if it's something related to career, something related to anything, academic goal or anything. So ask your kids to have a goal in their life. Now, this is something which you feel like, yeah, everybody is having this. We as teachers are also having this. How we are going to complete our housework, how we are going to pack the lunch, how we are getting ready, taking the bus or maybe the car, just reaching the school, completing the portions. We all have a routine, right? There are many students who are not having a routine in their life. So at least for the last 4 or 3 months or last 20 days of their before the examination, they should have a routine. So ask them to build up something. So maybe they can have a very simple task, maybe small tasks which they will be able to complete. So here it should mostly focus on their studies. And they should have some triggering factor that they need to identify themselves. What's my triggering factor? It's like this is January. My triggering factor is I want to get the license by Feb end. So I have something. So they can turn this goal into something related to academics. So I have a triggering factor. That triggering factor should be something which helps you to do the things. Now, next is something called rewarding yourself. It's something of self-care or self-love. And repetition, I think we have already covered. So you can ask your students to have the habit of rewarding themselves. If they've completed a chapter, maybe they can go out, they can rest, they can do something which they love to do for certain time. So why we are discussing these things is when somebody is practicing these things, they can know the differences, what has happened, it's just a small step. What difference it can make to your life. After implementing it only, we'll be able to understand. Now coming to the time management. It's like we as teachers have advised our students a lot when it comes to the managing the time. It's like during the examination, maybe before the examination. So you have to start with maybe section B or maybe section C, then move on to section B or A when it comes to mathematics paper. When it comes to English paper, you can start it from A, B, and C. So a lot of things are there when it comes to managing the time. So what you need to make your students understand is it's not for the students also, it's for ourselves. Maybe it's a Sunday and Monday it's a working day. We all used to say in this half room, I don't know what I did on Sunday. It was a busy day. But think what you actually did. Maybe you have cleaned your home, you have cooked food, maybe you went out, something. It's just when we are thinking we have not done much. So try to analyze how you are managing your time or how you're dividing your time among different things. And make them understand that you'll not be able to get the time that is lost. And even if you're saying you're busy doing things, it's like we're not actually that much busy doing different things. To make them understand what a step you're taking today is just going to decide your future. This is something which is very important. And everybody asks for a tip when it comes to time management. It's just planning things and just implementing the plan. There is no shortcut for managing the time. It will come only after you practice the time management. Now, moving on to something which is a decision matrix. I think most of you have come across this decision matrix. It's called Eisenhower matrix. This is a very popular time management tool, which helps you to prioritize and make decisions, maybe about the works that you need to get done. It can be used in maybe in our personal life as well as professional life. So it's a very simple thing. You can see the matrix here. Whenever you have to do some things, you have to classify it as urgent, it's not urgent, it's important, it's not important. So you have 4 quadrants here. Whenever you have a task, you can arrange it in this one. It's like you have something to prepare for the arts, you have a test, you have to submit an assignment. So you can tell your students these type of examples. So if it's urgent and important, you have to do it now itself. If it's important but it's not urgent, maybe you can allot a time slot to do it. If it's not important but it's urgent, maybe you can ask somebody else to do it. It's urgent, but from your perspective, it's not important. Maybe you can ask your parent to do it. So you need to classify the task. And there are a lot of tasks in our life which are not important and not urgent. We can just remove them. We can just delete it. It's like we are focusing on a lot of things that we don't want to do in our life. It's like something which is not going to benefit us, something which is not important for us, but we are not able to analyze it. Still, we are doing on those things. So you can just give an idea about this matrix to your students. And I think I have come towards the end of the session. I hope the session was useful. And I would like to explain about a course which we used to conduct every year. This is something called a refresher course. So initially, our team, Amrita, have conducted a survey among teachers across the country. We have listed some topics which the 12th teachers have felt that it's tough for their students. Then with that topics, we have conducted another survey among all the students across the country, almost all the students who comes under our contact. And we have listed some topics. So the professors from our School of Physical Sciences and School of Biotechnology will be conducting those sessions. So if you wish, I would provide the link in the chat box. You can ask your students to register. It's just random topics. It's just the topics from the, I would say something like 14.6.2 or something like topics from the textbooks. So this will be very helpful for your students. It's like just a revision on the basic idea. So thank you so much for attending. I hope this was useful to you. And this is my mail ID and my mobile number. If you have anything, you can directly contact me. So thank you so much for attending. I hope this was useful. I'm open to the questions. If there is anything, please do type that in the chat box. Okay. How would you recommend whether to be strict or friendly? I would say it's just a combination of two. We can't be strict so that we'll be able to get a personal touch with the students. It's just a combination. You have to be friendly, but when it comes to something, it's like they should obey you. That limit you have to keep. Okay. You have done the collaboration during college times. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Prince Sharma. Thank you all. And I hope I was able to meet your expectations. This is something which is very important for the students. We can talk about the time management. Maybe they should have a goal, maybe for 2 days, maybe for, it's just 3 hours, they should have a goal. Yeah, this is this chapter completion, this is the goal. But our students are not thinking something in the manner. And when it comes to memory, you can give that idea. That's why we are asking you to revisit or revise topics. So it's like, yeah, they know why they want to revisit things because it's in the top of the memory. So that's something they'll understand. So that is something you can talk. And yeah, thank you so much. And yes, I would share the presentation with ma'am. So she'll be sharing it with you. And if you wish, I think you can just mail or message to me so that I'll be able to share it with you. So thank you so much all. Thank you.